Happy Fair Housing Month, Oregon Realtors. This April marks the 56th anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, which specifically prohibits discrimination in housing based on certain protected classes. Ready to level up your services in the name of fair housing? There's a ton of great resources out there. Consider dedicating yourself to a fair housing related training like Bias Override or the Fair Haven Simulation. Spend some time on the Oregon Realtors Homebuyer resource page, where you can familiarize yourself with programs and organizations geared towards supporting the pursuit of homeownership. Join our Diversity Committee Just Action monthly book club, or consider getting involved with one of the dynamic NAR affinity group chapters we have here in Oregon. The Oregon Realtors 2024 Fair Housing Summit is another great learning tool available to you. This 3-hour webinar is jam-packed with fair housing tools and scripts to add to your Realtor toolkit. Providing equitable service to every client, every time, is just good business. Here's a few memorable moments from this year's event.
So we have lower home ownership among our Black, Indigenous, and communities of color across the state, but that's starting to increase. We're starting to see more diverse borrowers. We're starting to see some of these opportunities become across all of our race and ethnic populations around the state. So this will continue in the years to come, just given underlying demographics.
Our work as fair housing advocates has to go beyond don't discriminate. We also need to be looking at how can we close those gaps? How can we meet people where they are, given the historic and present day barriers that many groups still face?
Additionally, we have an amazing network of housing partners. We're talking to some of them right now, and their main purpose is to provide safe and stable housing and support services to help people keep their homes that already have homes. All of us are rowing the boat in the same direction and toward these common goals that none of us are alone in this fight.
When I see single family homes that have accessibility features, having those removed so that they become more sellable, it's disappointing because there's so little accessible housing stock out there and available. That it just makes it even worse for potential home buyers who need some of those features.
We need to consult with our clients and listen closely, that their limitations are as unique as they are as people, and it's never one size fits all. But boy, if we have that buyer consultation and we just listen and we guide the conversation with some of those great questions that you've all illustrated, you're gonna A, be a better realtor in general, and B, you're going to be way better able to serve clients that do have a physical or mental disability.
There are housing centers like Neighbor Impact throughout the state, and each housing center offers a couple of key classes that are going to help your buyers to be successful home buyers and also successful homeowners.
So realtors can actually reach out to us and use us as a resource. So if you witnessed something, if you're thinking like that may have been discrimination, that may not, I want to get more information about what discrimination might look like in the home buying process. We have a housing provider hotline where realtors can actually contact us and talk to an education outreach worker that specifically works with housing providers that are wanting more information about housing discrimination. Now, certainly if you think you've witnessed housing discrimination, you can contact also our hotline, a couple different ways to do that.
It seems obvious that you would treat every client the same, but the results of the Long Island Divided Newsday investigation show us that's just not the case. We have biases and we treat people sometimes based on what we think they might want or who we think they might be. And we can avoid all of that by asking a standard set of questions to every buyer or seller to make sure that we're always treating them the same.
And I think by realizing that housing disparities and wealth inequality and fair housing violations are not the fault of the people who are experiencing them, that creates a bridge where we can provide better service to people.
So I think, if you have that sort of learner mindset, I mean, nobody's perfect. We know that everybody has biases, and we're all sort of on different, different spots on our journey. We're in different places and we're coming from different perspectives and different experiences. So having the learner mindset, continuing to be open and curious and willing. One of the key takeaways from the Bias Override course is, being willing to authentically get to know people from different identity groups.